people who are interested in getting
because talk about again.
Your heart is in the right place, then what are you up against?
So when I started this show about 5 years ago, I never really anticipated it to become what it's become. I never really thought that a guy sort of creating a small podcast in his attic back in Boston would end up here today. I am so fucking excited about today's episode. It is by far, and I know I've said this before, so let me change my tone of voice. This is the best recorded episode of In Love with the Process to date. No offense to any of the other guests that have been on the show. I love all of you, and I am so happy to have made these connections, but by far, today's episode is the best. I am so excited about today's guest. I am so excited about everything that we just talked about because I've already done it. That's why I'm fucking excited right now, because I've already had the conversation and it's a good one. It's a real good one. And you've heard me before have actors on the show and personal connections have been made. But today, it's so weird how the world works, right? Because you're just sort of hanging out. I think what happened was I was on Instagram, surfing Instagram, and I was at the Stan Winston Instagram account, which is a great one for Stan Winston's school. So it's the effects school, practical effects. And I was going through all these really cool clips that they have been posting from movies that we grew up loving. You know, how the Terminator actually moved around and what the prosthetics looked like on Arnold. How like motion for T-Rex, like early designs for T-Rex for Jurassic Park, that kind of stuff. And I stumbled across a clip which obviously was nostalgic to a certain extent, but was also incredibly fascinating to me. I was fascinated by the technique that they used to put all these tiny little dinosaurs on today's guest, right? Now, if you've seen the graphic and you read the title for the show, right, why do I tease it? You already know who's on, but let me continue down this path, right? Let's pretend like you didn't read anything. You just click play. Today's guest has also walked into a bathroom in a movie with a marmot or a fucking weasel and tossed it into a tub. Remember that scene from a specific film? Or maybe you, like me, are a diehard, guilty pleasure lover of Michael Bay movies, right? And we all can quote one of his biggest and best, Armageddon, right? And who was the disgruntled astronaut that they had to hang out with in space when they space docked before slingshotting to get to the asteroid, right? The astronaut that would fix all the technical issues on a spaceship by swinging a wrench at it. One of my favorite parts. Or maybe let's go a little bit deeper cut, right? As deep as this cut may be. But this actor also played the best version of the devil on screen in a movie starring Keanu Reeves. Do you know what film I'm talking about? Yes, they do, Michael. Constantine, right? Let's fast forward to a more recent piece that our guest was in. A great show. Fantastic season 1 of his show, American Gods. He also played essentially a version of Thor on American Gods, which was amazing. And every time I see our guest walk on screen, I smile ear to ear, no matter what movie it is. If we're talking Fargo and his love of wood chippers, if we're talking Wow, let me see. What else did I have here written down? Jesus, 8mm. Great fucking movie. Minority Report. The coolest character. Every time our main actor, the high-priced, Tom Cruise walks into a movie and sits down in a dark, seedy chair somewhere, today's guest is there. And I love him for it. And we get into it on today's show. We talk about his career. We talk about the choices that he's made. We talk a bit about Hollywood and trying to make films and how he's transitioned into being a director and how he's writing his own movies. And we talk about his history and where he started from and working on crews and how he came over and his philosophy on acting, which has helped him build such an astonishing career. And his roles, dare I say, his roles outlive the films themselves. And the way he plays these characters are an important part of pop culture, of cinema history. At least for my generation, for sure. And if you haven't figured it out, today's guest is none other than the amazing Peter Stormare. I'm so excited to have him on. Oh, you guys are in for a fucking treat. But before we get to it, I want to thank everybody for following me on Instagram at Mike Pecci and following the podcast at In Love with the Process Pod. That's In Love with the Process POD on Instagram. I've been trying to keep you up to date with everything that's happening. The news release of our new project is either out now or will be out in the next week or so. For May, we're going to be dropping news about how you can help us with the new proof of concept film. Brand new horror proof of concept film. I don't know if I could say the title yet, so I'm not going to, but yes, I worked again with my partner in crime, Mr. Will Simmons, has actually written the script for this. He is also the guy that has written Who's There. He is also the guy that has written the feature version of Who's There and the feature version of 12 Kilometers. Will is the shit. And the only reason why I haven't had him on the show yet is that we've had an agreement that once one of these things happens, he's going to come on. So maybe this is the opportunity for that. We'll see. But lots of really exciting stuff happening. I think I should have them in my possession by the time the show comes out. I have some brand new, amazing pins that are being shipped to me right now that I've had designed by the amazing Crunchy Fingers. Zach Matthews has put together an amazing pin that you guys can't get your hands on. Only a select few get this pin. We've only had 100 pressed, and most of them are going to guests. I think I may be handing out some pins to super users, and some of you know who you are. The people that really support this fucking show. And yes, everybody that's listening, you guys do support the show, but super users are doing more than just listening. Super users are clicking on the trackable links during our ad campaign. Super users are telling their friends to listen to the show. Super users are posting their comments and sending me messages all the time that I repost. That is what a super user is. And you're going to be rewarded as such. I promise you. Very excited about today's guest and very excited to be able to include all of you in it. So without further ado, grab a beer, come, be polite, have a seat next to me and Peter, and chill and hang out. Fortunately, you're not going to be able to ask any questions, but you're welcome to hang out and be with us, all right? You know the deal. Turn up those noise-canceling headphones. Strap yourselves in for the brand new episode of In Love with the Process. Peter, thanks for being on the show, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thank you. I'm not skydiving. I'm sitting down. Thank God.
Dude, I gotta say, I'm fucking excited to have you on. You have been a staple in cinema for me, and I think that every time I watch a movie and you walk on screen, I think the last time I saw you was American Gods, and I was just like, "Fuck yes, he's in this."
Yeah, I haven't seen the show, but it's a nice character because it's also, it relates to, that the myth of Thor.
Yep.
is built on Chernobog. It's all the same crap,
Yep.
coming from Mongolia and over, with the Huns 4,000, 5,000 years ago. They invaded Sweden and brought Chernobog, and we named it Thor.
Yeah.
So they're all linked together.
It's perfect casting for you, brother.
Yeah. No, it's a great setup. I think everybody should read the novel. The novel is better than a TV series, I guess.
Yeah. It's great, actually. It's a good novel.
Yeah.
But where are we? So you out here in Los Angeles too? We on the same coast?
Yeah, I'm sitting not too far away from you, down in West Hollywood. I can see Glendale from here.
Nice.
If I climb a palm tree.
Super cool, man. And how's life? What have you been up to these days?
Oh boy, I set aside in my life when I was younger, and I was fortunate to get out here. I wanted to come here when I was a young boy, and when the timing was right, as we say here in Hollywood, there's no time, only timing. So when it felt right, I came over here through New York, doing theater in New York and some indies, and then I got my first gig in '89. With Penn and Marshall Awakenings.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know what you asked, but I'm just ranting here.
I love it, dude. You're just jumping right into it. I love it.
Yeah. No, but it's been, it's a great journey because I've been collecting things throughout my whole career. I've learned the skill of cinematography, editing, writing,
right,
and all this stuff. So I said, when I get old enough, I'm going to do my own shit.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing, I set up a little company called the Viking Brothers. Has nothing to do with white supremacy or nothing. It's just called the Viking Brothers because my two producers are from Sweden too, and they live out here.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
And we have Viking sisters too, and they are, they are writing some more erotic stuff. But then, I said I collected a lot of things. It's like, it's like dough. If it doesn't rise, don't put them in the oven. But some of my ideas and some of the notes I collected over the years. And I said, by the end, my last 25% of career, I'm going to pay tribute to my own ideas and the things I really like.
That's awesome, man.
So what I've been doing the last 5 years is to put together something called the Swedish Dicks. It's a half-hour show that's been on Amazon and it's on Netflix in the world. So it's rolling. We have done two seasons and we're waiting to do the third until we get the green light. And I've done something called the Mystery of the Viking Runestone up in Minnesota.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. Yeah. I saw the trailer for that. I haven't seen that yet. That looks cool.
Yes. We're waiting also because of COVID, we can't shoot because we can't shoot. We're set for a third season. And then I've been writing a lot of features. I want to do features. I want to direct, at least 5-6 movies before I go up and meet the, Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. I can really make out with Tinkerbell for yeah.
Well, so
it was my dream when I was 6 years old, and so Tinkerbell, that was my first love interest. Sex object. So now we're in the process. We're hooked up with European financiers and movie companies in Europe because it's impossible out here. It takes forever, and people are so
tell me about it.
Incompetent in this beautiful city I call Hollywood, but there's a lot of incompetent people, and producers these days are not the producers that I grew up with in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
At least the producers read the script and they had a heart in it. Now it's all, I don't know. They never read a script. They just say, I want more of him, less of her, and more of him and less of him and more of her.
Yeah.
And did you ever read the script? No, we can't have more of her. She's dead already. She got killed in the last scene. Oh, shit. Can we resuscitate her? No, it's not in the script, you idiot. So I'm working with European entities and streaming services and companies and joint ventures with them to raise money to do my movies. And unfortunately, I have to shoot them abroad. I can't shoot them here because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
So I have to do the same thing as all the studios are doing. They go into Lithuania, and not Ukraine these days, but other countries in the Eastern Europe hemisphere. And they shoot the movies over there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We're just negotiating 2 movies now with stars attached. And they say, yes, I want to do this. When? I don't know. I have some other offers. So it's like it always is, and then I get pissed and I say, if you don't say, time slate, I am screwed too,
Of course.
Because I have other things to do. I have offers to do movies I want to do. I don't want to turn things down just because you can't make up your mind.
Oh, it drives me crazy too, man. I'm in the same boat because we're pitching films all the time, and it's insane to me because we talked off air about this. Like, I'm originally from the East Coast, and so the speed at which we work back on the East Coast, by like 10 o'clock in the morning, I've got 39 things done on my to-do list. I come out here and like people celebrate getting 2 things done on their to-do list. And I'm like, how the fuck do you guys work at this speed? It's so slow out here with everything.
No, and I had a fantastic script, which I just have the work title is Heaven. And it's all about a guy who moves away from his home village, become a really famous composer and conductor. And he moves away, from the U.S., from a smaller village because he's bullied and stuff. And he moves away and becomes really, really famous. And then at one point when he's like 45, he breaks down, because of drinking too much, working too much, touring the world, and his heart gives up and he almost dies.
Oh, man.
And he goes back to his home village and he meets the people sort of that bullied him, and no one recognized him. They recognize him under a new name because he had a new name, like Alice Cooper. I have a stage name and alias.
Right.
And then, he become finally friends, and he starts a choir, with just local people to give them something, in this little hole of depression.
Yeah.
And people start joining his choir and they get enlightened. And all of a sudden when people have said, yeah, it's a really great script, but, who wants to hear people sing and dance, and people getting some spirituality through singing together. It's a cool thing, but now Coda gets an Oscar.
Yeah, yes.
And who's getting phone calls? Mr. Peter. Hey, didn't you have a movie about some really like odd people who can't really hear? She can't really hear, but she sings pitch perfect and stuff. Yeah, that's my work title, Heaven. Yeah, we're really interested. You see, because it's a big market for movies with music and, and to get spirituality out of singing and joy, and break the depression. Yeah, I've been saying this for 4 years now. I had the script for at least three and a half years.
Of course. That's the game. They see something and they all chase it like flies, and then they eat it and they overproduce it, and the next thing you know, they're like, where do we go next? What do we eat next? You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you have something more like Euphoria, close to Euphoria?
Yeah, I don't want to hear that again. I do horror movie stuff, and we went out to pitch right the week that Hereditary came out, and I would just grit my teeth every time I went into a meeting. You know, did you see that movie Hereditary? Yeah, I saw the movie fucking Hereditary. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if this was more like Hereditary? Fuck you. Like, seriously. Yeah. You know it's gonna take a year and change to make this fucking movie, and by the time it comes out, Hereditary will be long gone at that point. You know, it's just
it's
so slow.
It's hard. That's why I came up with this plan like 5-6 years ago. Let's go to streaming services in Europe, because they're going to grow. They're going to fight Netflix and HBO. And
smart.
It's kind of crazy in this country. I must say, I love this country. I'm a proud citizen, like being a first generation out here. It's, I love this country, even if all the craziness is going on now. I just see there's a positive way into the future. Yeah. But here, to pitch stuff and you get to Joe at Paramount saying, I really love this script, I'm going to take it on my wings. I'm going to fight for this. And then, you call 2 weeks later, Joe, what happened? No, Joe is not here. He works for Sony now.
Yes.
Joe, did you take the script with you to Sony? No, it's a Paramount thing. I can't just take it. Who's representing the script now at Paramount? I don't know. Maybe it's Barbara. I think Barbara. Okay, Barbara, did you ever read the script? The Bucket and Me, the Bucket and Me. No, I never heard of it. I'm going to ask my assistant, and then it all fades away and it goes down the sewer and it's gone.
It's a slow fade too. It's a very slow death where it's like, we'll call you back. And then it's like a week and 3 weeks and 4 weeks. And you're like, fuck you. Yeah, dude, but totally.
You have to write a horror movie with me in the center. That's all. Me being an Uber driver and just taking people to a horrific place. That's very simple story. I can be the bad guy and I can chop them up.
Dude, I'm in. I'm in if you want to do it.
Let's get together and write something.
Dude, I am totally in.
And let's do it ourselves. And you always have to write. This is my formula. Very contained, small cast.
Yep.
Very intriguing. Keep the costs down and make the movie, for $1.5 million, $2 million.
Yep.
And get the money from Europe and just say, no, I don't want to go and wait out here for 2 years for a no. I know I get a no. So, but then if you do something with European financiers, which a lot of people do here in the US, they go abroad. To find money. And then if you have something that is, let's say, just a little successful, then the door is open.
Yeah.
What do you want to do next, Peter? I want to do that movie, The Bucket and I, about a bucket and me sitting and eating together for 2 hours and then go to sleep. Yeah, that sounds really cool. He's going to win the prize in Venice, and Cannes. Yeah. Yes, only 2 characters, me and a talking bucket. It's very true. But Keanu Reeves is doing the bucket voice. Wow, you have Keanu? Yeah, he's doing the bucket, just voiceover, but he's never really on stage, not on the screen. No, just the name, man.
Yeah, you can get him to record it from his house, and then you have John Wick. You have the John Wick bucket. Then you're good. Yeah. You're good.
Yeah, it's funny, but you'll get there. Get there.
Working it, man. I think the move is just it's hard. Not to get discouraged, but you just have to keep pushing and know that like every minute of the day, it's bipolar, dude. Like I was joking about it recently. I had we were pitching one movie, and I had my management call me on the phone, and I get on the phone, and it's just applause, and everybody's clapping, and they're like, "Wow, you've done it. And I'm like, "What the fuck have I done?" They're like, "Wow, you've done it. Like, you've sold it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen." And I'm like, "Okay, wow, really?" They go, "Yeah, it's gonna happen." I'm like, "All right, yeah, all right, great. All right, cool. We'll call you back." And they call me back 4 hours later. Go, "No, it's not happening." It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No.
It's like up and down, up and down, up and down.
It's also because people are so afraid, and during the COVID, but it started early, but people like producers and people who can take a decision, they're so afraid of losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Because they are sitting on mansions in the hills and they have a mistress or a mother, and they have 2 Teslas they're paying off. It's just, they can't afford to lose a job.
Yeah.
So no one is willing to take a decision. I mean, when you're on set with producers and director is like not capable of making a good decision, I usually turn to the producer. Shouldn't we do the scene like this, that I'm not in the scene because I can't overhear this thing?
Uh-huh.
I should come in much later, like a surprise, because otherwise it doesn't make sense if I hear all this shit they're talking about, because I say, "What's going on, guys?"
Yeah.
And the producer says, "Well, I don't know, but don't you have an opinion about the scene or the script? Why are you sitting here?" Yeah, I'm mostly looking at the monitor. And and drinking coffee and have some crackers, and then I'm on a keto diet too, so I can't have some food, So, but I like what you're doing. I'm not asking about that. This scene, the director is in the John now.
Yep.
And he doesn't know what he's doing. And we, the actors, think it's very strange that I am in the scene overhearing everything they say. And then I say, "What's up, guys?"
Right. It's totally.
And they tell me the story again. It's like redundant.
Yeah, no, it's fucking with you.
No, I don't think it's redundant. It's kind of great to have you there in the scene. And then it repeats itself. Okay. So no one dares really to take a decision because everybody's so afraid of losing their jobs because they invested so much in their fucking Teslas and mansions in the hill. So no one is allowed to take a decision. It's sort of the boss of the company.
Yeah. Well, dude, so the one thing because I told you that I moved out here right before COVID, and I came out here because I have 2 projects in development. I've got one over at Scott Free, and then I've got another one with these other horror producers. And I got lost in 2 years of development, which is like you're going back and forth and you're doing phone conversations and people are just like beating the life out of ideas, and you just sort of run through this whole thing. And I just sort of got lost. I got lost for a little while going, is this what my fucking life is now? Like, how I feel so far away from like working with actors and being next to a camera and being in the edit room. I feel so distant from it. And
it'll come again. It's just keep pounding the door, and when it finally opens, then it's the red carpet.
Yeah,
do whatever you want. It's like it's strange, but in the meantime, I mean, we can meet in person. I'm going to wait to shoot, but I'm here in June.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, we can meet up and just see, maybe there's some project that would fit into our slate, or we can help you.
Hell yeah.
Because you can always, unfortunately, but there's places in the U.S. you can shoot, and there's rules and regulations. You can, if you have a small budget.
Yep.
Or to find people in Europe to back you.
Oh, see,
it's
whatever it takes, and if the more creative the people are and the more control that we have over the set, because my philosophy as a director has always been, it's about the experience making the movie. And of course I want it to be a great film, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good the fucking movie is. And if I'm doing it just for it to be a great film, most people are watching that shit on their phones now these days anyway. So I'm not going to get any, I'm not going to get anything out of that. So it really is the experience and who you're working with and You know the deal. Like when you're finding something on set and for some reason, like everybody's firing at the right moment. And then you just sort of look and everybody goes, oh, I have this idea. I have this idea. And then you start to make something. You go, this thing came out of nothing. Like this thing is so beautiful and it came from nowhere. Like that is the struggle. It's like we're sorting our way through these producers that are sitting at the monitor, drinking their cappuccinos, and sort of trying to get up to the front of the war line past the cinematographer, and then that little space where you're able to make those things, man. That's
but you started shooting your movies up in Boston, or did
yes,
and then,
yeah.
So how did you finance your movies up in Boston then?
So we did a bit of everything. We did some crowdfunding. We did some of that. I did some self-financing for pieces. Like we did. I don't know if I've sent you. I'll have to send you some of my stuff. I did. And the audience has heard this, but who cares? Sit with it, guys. I did a movie called 12 Kilometers, which was about the Russian drill team in the 1980s that dug the deepest hole known to man, and they dredged something up. And I did a proof of concept. So I did a 30-minute proof of concept for that, and shot that whole thing outside of Boston. We did period everything. And I shot it in Russian. I don't speak Russian, so I did the entire movie in a language I don't speak. And it was such a fun fucking, like, I miss that. That's like the ultimate. And that's where we're trying to get back to. That's where I'm trying to get back to here on the West Coast, is just into that creation mode.
You know? But at least you have a reel to show people and stuff. I mean, you have an advantage.
Yeah. Well,
but
it helps.
It's gonna happen. I mean, what is Hollywood today? It's people going up slapping Johnny Depp sitting in a fucking courtroom in West Virginia, and it's all falling apart. And what's his name? Will Smith get the best Oscar for a movie that's horrible. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it's like, a caricature he's doing there. Girl, come on, it's harder. You know, it's like a Monty Python movie for me, you know.
Yeah.
I like him. I worked with him, but I think the Scientology has made him a little bit strange, you know.
But you know, I've heard that it does that. I've heard that it definitely has.
Yeah, and I mean, that movie, I saw it because, you know, I think the Serena sisters, I mean, it's what they've done. It's like a Tiger Woods story, but I mean, the way it was created is like, you don't have to overact and walk funny and that gets the best Oscar for acting. I mean, he's a decent actor. I think win an Oscar there. It's
I know.
Bad Boys is okay. I mean, but this is like, what? And I saw the movie before the Oscars, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but today Hollywood is like, yeah, it's great. Sue me and I sue you. Fuck you. You know, I kick you in the balls or I hit you. And poor Chris Rock, who is I worked with him too. And I even have his phone number. I text him occasionally. I get an answer.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this? It's Peter, the Swedish guy. Oh, okay. What do you want? I just want to say hello, you know. Weird things going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's a nice, very funny, great guy, just taking that hit. I thought it was a prank, but.
Yeah, no, it was crazy how he, like, gracefully, he just sort of transitioned.
Yeah.
You know?
But Hollywood today, it isn't about good writing. It isn't about good movies. It isn't really about great things. It isn't about producers who know scripts, managers that really fight for their clients to get a job. You have a manager who has to make 10% too to pay off his 2 Teslas and the Tesla to his granddaughter. And, you know, they have to have their 10% to pay the mistress and the wife, you know, and the wine boxes, or the wine from Bristol Farms.
Sure.
So it's like a maze, because no one dares to do anything. Instead of, you know, if as an actor, if you have an agent out here, I fired all my reps. But if you have somebody out here, you have your 25 clients.
Yep.
You promote the one who gives the best revenue. You never promote the talent you think is talented enough for a part. You promote the one who makes the best revenue.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, even because I have my agents in management for directing, and it's the guys are great. They're nice dudes, but you have to be consistently fueling their interest. So you're consistently, they're always like, what else do you have? What else do you have? What else? It's like, what am I, a fucking factory? Like, what else do you have? What else is coming? And you're like, okay, all right.
Yeah. At the same time, we're trashing the industry, and it is a wonderful place to be. I must say, Hollywood is a nice place to be, and it is very special to walk around in the studios and some of the streets around where all the great people. I live down here in West Hollywood, and next to me, is Chaplin's old little chateau he built for his mother and his brother.
Cool. Yes.
And he walked over the meadows and the avocado grove to his thing on La Brea, his studio on La Brea.
Yeah.
I walk by the house more or less every day. It's like, wow, this was Chaplin. You walked the same streets here as I did.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I love going to, I go to test screenings all the time over on Warner Brothers lot. And I love that. I love that studio.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the people that really come here from all over the world, you meet people from all over the world here, and they all have the same kind of dream, just to work here. But it slightly changes now. You can actually work where I was born, you can actually work out of Sweden and produce things for Netflix, HBO, and Disney. You don't have to work for the big studios, and they're falling apart. That's why everybody, even CNN, tried to open up Plus. I'm going to go streaming too. It's too late. You should have done it, Paramount. You should have done it 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's
too complicated. I talk to people like, why don't you go streaming? Why don't you go like Netflix did? Why don't you? It's too complicated. No, it's a fucking hard drive.
Yeah.
You can get it on one hard drive, all your movies, and stream them.
Yeah.
But, it's too slow. They have to think. And now everybody's streaming. So the big studios are falling apart, which is a good sign, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. And I don't want to be too pessimistic because, whatever. But I think that the big advantage, like you were saying, is that we can do all this content, we can make this stuff, and we can get access to streamers and all these different outlets. And since there's so many different streamers out there, there's such a hunger for content right now. You just have to break through whatever social barriers exist right now, at least on the type of movies that people want to get made because they think they're going to be hot. So
I mean, even like Discovery Plus or whatever the name, they open up a Scandinavian office now, and they're going to do Scandinavian content.
Smart. Mm-hmm.
And they're going to do also American content suitable for the American audience, but place it, in Europe, in Northern Europe.
Yeah. Well,
because it's also nice for an American audience to see other places in the world, to see Northern Finland maybe, or, something going on in Northern Finland, or on Iceland. It's exotic, and it's not the same old Toronto, New York,
Yeah, no, for sure. There was a period of time where I could just see, opening shot, I'd be like, this was shot in Vancouver. Every time you look at it, you go,
we all see that. Okay, they forgot one sign.
Yeah,
they forgot one sign.
There it is. This smells like Vancouver. It hasn't even started yet.
But it's great. I'm in a position now where I'm getting much older, but still, the brain is still like 18 and hungry and very curious. And I have the ability to write pretty good scripts. And I get to, from the backing financiers and the people in Europe they gave me thumbs up on many scripts. And we're just trying to find financiers. And they say, if you get a good actor, and I contact my friends and they say, this is a great script. I want to do it. I have some objections to some things here.
Sure.
So, change it. it's not written in stone. It's a script. It's a script that that we have to work on together and make the best out of it.
Yeah, it changes all the way into the edit room. I mean, you're changing a movie all the way until you're done with it. So it doesn't.
So, there's so many different ways now. And I think it is, I don't know if you remember the revolution with the VCR cameras that came with sex, lies, and videotapes.
Yes.
All of a sudden, everybody was doing movies for $300,000, $400,000.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And some great movies came out of it. And it started a whole independent movement, which was so good. And it's happening again, even if all the streaming services are getting very greedy too and very strange. And I think Netflix have gone a very strange middle of the road thing. Yeah. It's like
their programming has become, I'll say it, their programming has become kind of trashy lately.
Yeah. I used to watch Netflix and stuff, but I never, I still pay. I was one of the first, it's funny, you get an email from them occasionally. You being one of the first million in the US to sign up for the streaming service of Netflix. That's why you only have to pay $4.99.
Yeah.
And we have to raise it to $5.99. But for all other customers, it's going to be $6.99.
Yeah, I got that. I got that too.
Now I get those. You got that too, or you among the two first million or something. And now, now it's like up in $14.99, but the rest are paying $15.99.
Oh,
aren't you lucky, guys?
Right.
Aren't you lucky?
So exclusive. Yeah. I know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, but they're trying to find. They also have, HBO, Netflix. They have big companies in Europe. They are said they're shooting a lot in Europe, only for Europe, and they're making good money. And they're spending a lot of money too.
Yeah. They're smart about it though.
Yeah, but sometimes they're very, very, we're going to put it up, but we love this. We love your script, Mike. We really love it. But if you can fund it, we promise we put it up on Netflix for 3 years and you're going to have 5% of the revenues, 5% of the revenues. You don't, because we can see how many people are watching,
Sure, of course.
And you disclose that to me every 3 months. Yeah. So you have that on one hand where they are really scumbags, where you say, okay, I take fucking on my credit card and whatever, $1 million, I do this, $1 million. It's going to go up on Netflix for 3 years. And on the back end, if this ticks, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then, it's up there and you're never going to see a back end. And they started with that kind of formula, and it's not going to work really. They're going to lose interest from investors and from movie makers.
Eventually, it'll burn itself out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And they have to go back to the old formula. We have to, if we put some money into this, we also have an interest, in it. And some of the streaming services have gotten hold of some good producers and some good people that are really into, but some of them don't read script, they are very corporate. But some do read scripts. The one I've been working with, there are some people that really do read the scripts and come with really intelligent notes.
Yeah.
But it's more a European way of looking at characters and the situation the characters are in than just looking for boom, boom, bang, bang, blame, shoot them up things.
Yeah. It's a really, you're right. It's a very hard balance because we just went through this with one of our scripts and we did of course, 12 rewrites over the course of multiple notes and all sorts of folks. And you actually see sort of the progression of it where it starts in sort of a character driven or idea driven or technique driven sort of origin. And then it sort of goes through this process of just being, it's like pizza dough where they stretch it out 100 different ways. And it's what would it be like if the character, had a gun, or what would it be like if this, and then you're like, oh, okay. What if we take him and make him a her? And you're just like, okay, where the fuck are we? And you sort of run through this whole gamut. And then, for me, I try at the end of it, I'm always trying to come back to the origin of it, I'm not going to be a total shit talker here. Like, I've gotten really great notes before. I've gotten great notes from producers that we've worked with and people that, because when I came here, I had such a bad attitude being an East Coaster, and I'm like, okay, we're going to Hollywood and I'm going to deal with all the Hollywood. And when I showed up, there were some producers that I work with. I was like, holy fuck, these are good notes. I didn't even think about that with this character. So you can get it out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They're hard to find, and you're lucky when you find one.
Yeah. But I also understand it's the weird nature. And it's funny how this conversation has consistently come up with all my guests over the past 6 months. I think everybody's just feeling fucking like beaten down because we went through COVID. We went through, you're not allowed to do shit. Maybe you're allowed to do shit. No, it's back. You're not allowed to do shit again. And then just sort of like the social beatdown that we've had on like who's canceled, who's not canceled, like what's happening and how our entire social structure has been changing. And now we're sort of trying to go back to making movies again. And we're trying to get projects greenlit and stuff made. And there's all these new filters that we're putting our stuff through that I think everybody's just a little tired. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah, everybody's in debt. Yeah. But also it's like I had a very good suggestion, because the script I was talking about, the singer and the conductor earlier, and I had like during COVID, I had some interest and actually really good interest from to somebody who said, I'm ready to invest in my company, but because I'm an African American, I would like to have the guy to be African American. And I said, but I can't direct and write for African American. I feel very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, then I have to sell you my script, and then I have to give it away and get $35,000 for it. And
yep,
I don't think I'm no disrespect, sir. I'm glad you like the script and you would like to go that way, but I want to direct and I want to be there on set.
Sure.
If I don't direct, I'm going to have somebody, I'm going to tell them how I want this thing to be performed. And I think I would feel very uncomfortable being the director. I feel then we have to find a good African-American director. There's a lot of them.
Sure.
But it's like I'm writing about the people I know and the things I've been through in life.
Yeah.
And it's sort of my demons and my crazy stuff and my horror. And it's no disrespect to another, citizens of the United States. But I feel very strange when white guys are sitting writing, soap operas for African Americans or for Hispanics.
Yeah,
it's weird. But I have a manager I went back to that I started with in the 90s when I got to New York in the end of the 80s. And I still have her. She's like an old kind of, like one of a kind of the old manager that really cares for her 12 clients. And
so cool.
Somebody can't pay the rent, she's there and help them out. And, no one looks like me. And she has people from all over the world she's representing. And, the hell, I forgot what I was talking about. But it's I'm talking a lot of good things with her about her.
Yeah. She's the old school kind of management. That's what you want.
But it's just also when sometimes she gets like a request if I'm available for things and stuff, and it says on the email underneath, we want to see if Peter is interested to be part of this project, and it's a part for him we're thinking about,
Yeah.
If it's Eastern European, say no. But it's the last paragraph is like a Bible. We disclose, we're open, this can be performed with any race. We don't judge. And why do they ask me if everybody, It has this big paragraph coming from all the studios that we don't ask Peter necessarily if he's available. We're not offering the part. We're just asking if he's available, because this part can be played by any ethnicity, and we are inclusive, and we're open about our way of casting a movie. We're asking this client because he would be good for this, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
So it's like, and it comes in the email, and I'm stunned. Like, you have to write that all today in the email to be PC. And it's kind of sad. Just start making movies again.
So it's time for us to take a minute, take a break, and check in with our sponsors. But before you decide to skip ahead, don't. And you know what? I don't think there are many people that do, because most folks write to me and say, hey, we really enjoyed your sponsor reads, which is cool. I try to find sponsors for this show that mean something to me, people that actually make things that I use consistently. And the two big sponsors on today's episode I use them every day. I just used it all this morning. Our first sponsor is Puget Systems. I've been on the computer all morning doing my storyboard work. I was also at the same time editing a brand new piece. I don't know if it'll be out by the time this episode comes out, but Gina just shot and directed something for Entertainment Weekly. I'm going to say it here. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I'm going to. And she shot that piece on our Blackmagic Cinema 6K Pro camera, which we're also sponsored by. And she also used her crazy mix of dad cams and all sorts of mixed formats, which always makes it an interesting edit for me in post, because I'm jumping different formats. I have to have timelines that have all sorts of different codecs that run in them, everything from 6K all the way down to like 480p. It's pretty ridiculous. And what I love about my Puget system is that it never gives me a hard time. I'm able to run everything in a Premiere Pro timeline without any issues. I love the amazing range that my Blackmagic RAW files give me when I shoot that stuff, and it integrates seamlessly into Premiere, and I'm able to do all of my color grading and everything within Premiere, and I'm able to run everything real time on my Puget system. What's really interesting about content creation these days, and I'm sure that you guys and girls have seen this, is that you're not just shooting 1080 footage, you're not just shooting wide stuff for television, you're also shooting like Instagram stories, you're shooting like square footage, different timelines for like reversed aspect ratio. So instead of 1920 by 1080, it's 1080 by 1920 for like Instagram story stuff. It's all over the place. And what I love about my Puget system is that I never have to wait on anything. I'm doing all of my video editing on my Puget. I'm doing all of my sound processing, my podcast editing on Puget. It is the place that I go every day. And also, you know, combined in this whole ad read are our friends over at Jambox, jambox.io. Let me do that again, jambox.io. Wow, get your shit together, Mike. They're an amazing music licensing website. They're a site that I found earlier this year, and it really changed the dimension and the scope of our work, of our like corporate work, big time. Because like many of you, whenever we get a budget from clients, they're never giving us a good amount for post-production, right? How many days do you have to give away for free? How many times do you have to lower your editing rate just to be able to get the entire gig? You know what I'm talking about. But at the same token, there's never money put aside for music. It's the last thing anybody thinks about. And it drives me absolutely insane because we have great visuals, great blocking, great acting, great direction, pat on my back. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to put some trashy song underneath it, it just ruins absolutely everything. And so with Jambox, I was blown away at the quality of music that they have. Their stuff belongs on my Spotify queue. You know what I mean? And this is from a music licensing website. And I was asking them, because I've had the owner of Jambox on the show, and I said, how the hell have you guys done this differently? Most stock websites just have like the B or C or D side tracks from artists that are just like, look, I don't want to release this on my album, but hell, I'll just try to sell it on a stock thing, right? That's usually what we're sorting through. Music that just doesn't have emotional depth or context, right? Well, I asked him, I said, how the fuck are you guys doing this? And he goes, well, we run it like a record label. We actually pay the artists, we sign artists, we actually put together albums or EPs that we feel the industry is looking for right now. And it helps that these guys have had a background of years and years and years of experience of creating music and adapting music for trailers. They did all the music for Michael Bay's recent Ambulance trailer. So these guys know what you need in the edit room. And what I love about Jambox is that they give you the options for all of that, whether it's stems, whether it's sound effects, and it's all at a crazy affordable price. This is one of those sponsors that we have on the show, and I say this every time I do a read for them, and I believe this. If you sign up with Jambox, it will change your work today. It will change the way you plan your work. It will change the way your clients respond to your work. I get a lot of credit for my editing, but the credit really should go to the music. I'm telling you right now. Head on over to Jambox now, check it out. They have great subscription plans, $9.99 a month for the unlimited creator plan, where if you're someone that does podcasts, if you're someone that does YouTube content, student work, social media content, and you are tired of having the songs flagged when you go to post them on YouTube, sign up for their $9.99 free trial. You get a 30-day free trial. And through the end of this month, which is almost up, I think April's going to be the end of it, you also get a percentage off if you use the promo code ILWP. I think it's 20%. Don't quote me on that. I should have it in front of me, but I think it's 20% off. They also have a great commercial plan for $19.99 a month. If you're someone creating commercials, we use this plan for the work that we've done for GQ, for EW, all these recent posts that you've seen. Like I said, I get a lot of credit for it, but it's really because I have access to this great library of sounds at the price point that the client has given me, right? There's great plans here. And if you guys don't want to do a subscription, you could also do single song licensing. Head on over to jambox.io. And while I sort of group all these ad reads together, also head on over to pugetsystems.com. If you're going to build yourself a new computer, if you need a new edit system, if you're tired of the pinwheel of death, right, then head on over there and check out their options. They also do consultations for people that are outside the country, because I don't think Puget is shipping internationally, but they will walk you through how to build your own Puget system. And the thing that's great about these guys is that they're benchmark testing everything. I don't know if you follow them on Instagram, but I've been following my buddy Eric. He has been over, right now I'm recording this on the 26th. He's been at NAB this year, and they've done some really cool virtual studio stuff with View Network. I'm looking at their setup right now. They have is that a Lamborghini in front of a giant LCD screen? I know their computers are running all of that. That's fucking cool. And they've also been working with Corridor Digital. A lot of you guys know who Corridor Digital is. So these guys are deep, embedded deep, and I'm proud to say that I'm the first guy that they're working with in this industry. And I love them, and I'm so excited. Eric just texted me this morning. He goes, "You have to be here at NAB with us next year." I guess there's some stuff going down, so I'm excited. So definitely check them out. And as I said earlier, we're also sponsored by Blackmagic. So the amazing Cinema 6K Pro camera. I love it so much. We've been using it like crazy. I love all the options that are out there. Blackmagic is a great website if you are an up-and-coming cinematographer. I've had a lot of people ask me this week, and you saw me reposting them on my Instagram account, what camera am I using? And it turns out that everybody's using a Blackmagic these days. They're incredibly affordable, and what you're getting out of the rig can be put on the big screen, can be put up against any sort of other cinema camera that you're renting for your large project. That's why I got it. I needed a really good B-roll camera, and something that I can just literally throw over my shoulder and go shoot a last-minute project with. And I love it. It's really great. We've had really cool looking stuff come out recently on it. So yeah, there's sort of a jumble of all of our sponsors in one read. It's pretty good. Also, if you guys like this show, maybe there's a lot of new listeners because we have Peter on the episode, and I know that's going to pull in some new listeners, new fans. And you want to go check out our other actor episodes. And when you look at the queue on Apple Podcast or Spotify, you're like, wow, these guys are almost at 200 episodes. Do I start at the beginning? Yeah, you might want to. But you can also go to inlovewiththeprocess.com. There I've curated the episodes by subject material. So if you want to just listen to the actor episodes, the director's episodes, if you want to listen to the chef's episodes, the food episodes. By the way, I have a lot more really great food episodes coming. The reason why I've been holding out on it is that I've got a few new sponsors signing on. So I've been trying to time it all out correctly so that the sponsors can be attached to the new food episodes. But we're really pushing in that direction too. So it's going to be, I don't want to say 50-50 food and 50-50 filmmaking, but it'll be pretty close, you know? And I've got some really cool guests coming on about that too. So anyway, like I said, go to inlovewiththeprocess.com and check it out. All right, let's get back to talking with a legend, shall we? To your point that you were making before, if I'm going to do a movie with any sort of character in it, whether it's, you know, a white guy or if it's a woman or if it's a fucking alien, you know, like I have to feel like it's coming from a place of curiosity on my part. Like I have to be curious about something. And this comes from my years of documentary work of just sort of like trying to find the thing that fascinates me about a human being. And usually it's an obsession, like most humans have an obsession for something. And that's usually the starting point. That's the spark for me that I'm like, okay, so this person's obsession is what runs their life. So I'm fascinated by this. And then it doesn't make a difference. The thing that I get, and I'm not the only one that is this way. I think the thing that is challenging is a correct word. The thing that is challenging about what's happening currently is that you feel like a lot of this is just being crowbarred in, and it's just being crowbarred in for the sake of whatever, you know, head white guy lives behind a gate somewhere is like, look, I'm inclusive. Look at all the inclusive things that I do. And you're like, are you really though? You're still the same guy. Like you fired your entire staff and peppered it with some new faces, but you're still like the not really inclusive person behind that gate up there. You know what I mean? So like when you get those notes on stuff and people are like, hey, you know, should we swap this? I go, well, yeah, I don't mind swapping this. If we can find that curiosity, and it should be different. It shouldn't be interchangeable. Like that's wrong, right? That's just as wrong as being non-inclusive. Like there should be a curiosity. Like, all right, if we're going to do this, let's think of it differently and let's see if it still makes sense. And does the whole fucking movie change there? And why are we making this? Are we making this so that you can stand up on stage and cross your arms and go, look how good I am? Or are we making this to actually make a good project and a good film and a story?
Yeah, I'm with you. And, you know, this situation of being just politically correct in everything, and people are being afraid of upsetting other people, and
yeah, it's tough.
It is very strange. It is very strange, and it also the writing have changed because I come from theater, and you know, you do old writers like from Shakespeare, and you do Ibsen and Strindberg, and you do those guys that wrote in a very specific way, and Hollywood started with writers coming from theater. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's very strange also today to read a script. I get so annoyed because everybody speaks the same language. And I say, but the old writers that came from stage, they knew that a maid doesn't talk the same way as the mistress of the house.
Right.
Or the lawyer talks different than the fucking farmhand.
Right.
And the guy, you know, being homeless or whatever, being the beggar knocking on the door, has a different language. I say sometimes on set, especially on TV, all these lines are here just to do a scene from A to Z.
Yeah.
Actually, we can take these lines, throw them up in the air, and then see which one they land on, what character they land on. We can all say the lines, we just carry the scene to the end.
Yeah.
I can't speak like this. I can't talk like this. I got to have a different lingo, because even if you and I grew up in Boston together, and I had the same kind of accent like you, but if I grew up in a poor family, you're in a rich family, even if it were just 4 or 5 blocks away, and we went to the same school, maybe.
Yep.
We're gonna have a different way of using the grammar.
Yeah, 100%.
We were different, so it's very important for me when I do a character that I change sort of the language to. Has it been to school for more than 9 years? Did it drop out? If I'm just an immigrant, like I've done tons of accents. If I'm an immigrant, but it's important to me that he speaks always. If you have a grave accent, don't write it, the line, hello, train leaving station when. if I say the line like this, I have to say, listen to people at the United Nations, or whatever, they have a perfect grammar. They can have a stupid accent. It sounds funny, but they have good grammar. And I think for an audience, if I don't have a good grammar with a grave accent, I'm going to lose the audience. They're going to look at each other and say, what the fuck did he say? What was that? And then it's going to take me forever to get them back to listen to me.
Yeah.
So don't write it like that. I have to have what time does the train leave the station? That's,
Yeah.
Then they understand me. I can't say, train, this station leaving when.
Yeah.
It doesn't prove that I'm a foreigner. The accent sells it. And I say, go back to look at the movies from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're a German, you'll have a little like this. If you're in Egypt, being Cleopatra and Anthony, you have English accents. Oh, Cleopatra, what have you done to him? Oh, I did nothing of that kind. No, go away. The Egyptians spoke like Oxford English. It's very, very strange.
Yes, it is. It's very strange.
But you had a bunch of American actors, even in the 60s, 70s, doing Nazis, and they come on and speak like this. It's Yul Brynner being a Nazi. Yeah. And that is the American way of seeing movies without subtitles. You have a little accent.
Yep.
And you have a good grammar, so you don't lose your audience ears. And it could be performed with, Yul Brynner or big stars or Humphrey Bogart, could do a Russian. And they would follow him.
Yeah.
And we have lost that thing that this country, they don't like subtitles. The new generations, they're so used to subtitles, but the older.
Yep.
But it's just a little twitch of the accent. And even in the US, even if we both grow up in Boston, we can't talk exactly the same. And, the writers that came from theater, they were brought up like writing for the character.
Yeah.
And not just for the scene.
For the structure. Yeah.
For the structure. A young girl talked differently than an old maid, and they had different way of saying things, with their language. Today, it's maybe one writer writing 20 characters, and they all speak his grammar.
Yeah, which is funny. It's like a weird twist on like the old Woody Allen stuff, where like you'll hear the writer's voice coming out of everybody, and you watch the piece, and you're just like, I don't buy any of this stuff. And I mean, that's always a challenge for me as a director. That's a challenge because you're trying to. You need a script because you need the formula for where you're going to go, and you got to work it out on the page. But then you really want to throw all that away when you're trying to work through a scene with actors, because at the end of the day, I want to be surprised. And And with the amount of prep that's my job, because I prep as a director, you prep, and that's everything. And by the time you get to shooting, you're bored with it. You've already done all the prep, you know all the shots, you know what it's supposed to look like, and you spend most of your time disappointed because you're just like, well, this didn't fucking look the way I wanted it to look. You know what I mean? And so then, so then you get on set, and what I'm looking for, always looking for, is a surprise from the actors, and looking for that new flame of just going like, shit, okay, great, this is new to me, now I'm in love with this is something fresh, and this is something great. I learned that when I did that movie in another language. I did that movie in Russian, and what it became was a study in silent cinema for me, because it was more about sounds, not language. It wasn't about what was being said. It was about sounds. It was about body posture. And what my goal was, and I think I pulled it off, my goal was to make a film that if you watched it and you didn't read the subtitles, you still knew exactly what was going on just because of body language. And in that process and in that editing of it, because I edited the entire film without having it translated, I just listened to the wide shots and I went, okay, here's what it sounds like. And then I cut to it. It was such a wild exercise because I was hyper focused on the intricacies that the actors were bringing to it, and becoming incredibly fascinated with specific looks and specific things. And it was really nice because even though the dialogue was important to a certain extent, I also knew that I could fucking subtitle whatever the hell I wanted, because most of the people who were going to watch it were from the US anyway. So I could change the dialogue which I didn't have to do. We did a good job with it, but that was sort of a stress that was taken off the plate. And you're just sort of examining these patterns and these things that actors are bringing to what are just fucking words on a page. They're nothing until you come along and breathe life. And, to give you some credit, this is what I've always loved about your work, is that your stuff is in the subtleties for me. It's in like the slight movements and the lip quivers and all this stuff that it doesn't feel like you have a box of tricks. Like you get a lot of TV actors that are like, hey, can you bring me some sunglasses so I can slide those off my face to prove a fucking point? Like it's not, you're not doing that. You're doing stuff that just feels like you're naturally in the moment. Like one of my favorite characters is your bit from Constantine and how you played Satan in that, and just all the fucking details in the reversal shots of how your feet were moving and stuff. Those are the bits and pieces that excite me as a director, because that's the real shit that I couldn't have fucking prepped. You know what I mean? No. And to make a long story short, but I think I got off of the part because Jack Nicholson wanted $5 million to walk on a set and to do this, the devil. That's funny. And then, I got the offer, and Lawrence, the director, he wanted me, and so I went like a couple of weeks before we were going to start shooting, like 2 weeks before we started shooting. I went in to check my costume and fitting, and they had me in leather pants, big boots, a belt with studs, bare chested. And I had supposed to have a lot of dots on the bare chest because they're going to CGI moving tattoos, moving around, creeping around, and some snakes coming out of my ears and stuff. And I said to Francis, and I said to De Ventura, who was one of the producers there, I said, I can't do that. It's better you hire a guy who can dress up like the Red Devil, who makes the commercials for the Red Devil. And I said, no one's going to hear anything. No one's going to hear what I'm saying. These are important words. This is the conclusion of his fucking life and struggle. Yes. And I said, I suggest dress me up as Chekhov did. And, when you walk on stage, if you have something important to say, as you usually have on stage, don't be dressed up in feathers and boa, and have a lot of crap around you, because people will don't show you penis. They will always just look at your penis. Yeah. That's big, that's small. He looks fat. He looks thin. All that shit's going on. I said,
this is so important. Have me coming down from the heavens instead of the ground, which is very stereotypical.
Yeah.
And have some tar on my feet, and have me barefooted in an off-white linen suit. Then the audience will hear every word I have to say. They don't look at CGI things crawling into my eyes and, a snake coming out of my ear, because then take away all the dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
And finally they agreed. And I'm very happy. Like during the pandemic, I ended up on the first 100 years of filmmaking, the best devil. And I got voted the number one.
Nice.
And
nice.
Yes. But it proves I wouldn't have said that if I never had done stage work, if I hadn't worked with really good directors and with people who said the character is more important, than the scene itself, because the scene will only work if the character is believable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because the scene is there already.
Mm-hmm.
So just make the character believable. And Sam Shepard was a fantastic playwright. And he told me, don't act too much in my plays. Just try to perform the words. Just let the words come out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that taught me a lot too, because I did Sam Shepard in Sweden, translated, became very good friends with him. He's gone now. Yeah. He was such a brilliant guy. But it is so important. I had to fight. And I thought, well, either they fire me and get some other guy. But they finally, because of one producer, Warner Brothers said, no, he's got to be dressed up like that cool outfit. She's been working like a half a year to create this cool. And I said, it's so stereotypical. I look like a fucking like that Finnish gay painter, The only thing is missing is the Freddie Mercury cap, like the Clark cap or whatever he had, like more studs. Have me in a wife beater. Yeah. But finally they agreed. And I think that is the things that actors sometimes have to stand up for their characters, and I did, and it paid off. Yeah. But I could easily have been fired. There have been other projects I've been in. I said, I refuse. I can't. I can't.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, but it's the right choice. Obviously, when you watch it, you feel it, and God, it's so rooted in such great history and lessons for you, because you've brought this up twice, and I want to dig a little bit into it before we leave. Are you okay on time? Are you all right for time right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I'm just building a pool.
So you bring up a good point multiple times, that you've had quite the education from all these amazing film directors. Like, you've worked with like Spielberg, you've worked with the Coen brothers, and like fucking Michael Bay, you know what I mean? And like you have such a kaleidoscope of information. Like, I can only imagine. I have friends that work on Michael Bay's stuff. I haven't been able to be on one of his sets, but what's it like being on one of his sets? That must be absolutely insanity.
For me, it's wonderful because Michael Bay is so prepped.
Yeah.
He knows what he wants. He's a little bit over enthusiastic, but I've been working with directors that had no enthusiasm for their own fucking project at all. He's enthusiastic. I love when he screams, I love when he's moving around the camera and say, I want to do 47 setups before we break for lunch. Yeah. That's a world record. Hurry up, say the line. And he's overexcited. Look at this, Peter. Look at this. Wow, have you seen such a set ever before? Look at this. Wow, this is going to be great. We're going to have a big crane in Bad Boys 2. We're going to do a really Sergio Leone thing, when between your legs, we're going to come up. It's the biggest fucking crane you can get in Florida, and it's enthusiasm. And for me, I grew up on stage with Ingmar Bergman. Ingmar Bergman was different but they have this. For me, I call him Ingmar Bay or Michael Bergman.
Yeah,
and I said they have a lot in common because they love each and every character.
Yeah.
What you forget about Michael, you hear a lot of stories. He's screaming and bitching at people because he runs around moving props, moving lights and stuff because he thinks he wants it to go faster. He wants it to be a pace because he wants pace in his stuff. But for me, I hold him very dearly, and I have the ability to call him and text him, and whenever I can always go and have a beer with him, and he's always a nice guy. Yeah, and I just love people being enthusiastic. If you goes overboard sometimes,
sure, whatever.
It's like having a coach. If you were on a professional basketball team, you want to have a coach sitting down just taking notes and saying hum hum. That's great, guys. Great. You want a coach that stands up and screams when the umpire says that's a foul. Fucking no, come on, scream. Or in football, that's a Michael Bay. He's more like a professional football coach or a basketball coach. Yeah, you don't want a director just sitting down saying, Can you do it again? Let's do a master for the 23rd time.
Sure.
He's way beyond the master after 2 minutes.
But I love that. I love that about his movies, and I've been a fan. I've been a fan of his films for so long. And sure, they're pop, like action movies. But I love the fact that they still exist. I just saw his ambulance one too, and it was like fun to see. I was like, "Whoa, dude! Well, like you love the drones now, but besides that, like it's super cool."
Why did it do bad at the box office? I haven't seen it. I'm going to see it. But when I was going, it was like they said, "Oh, it's 2.5 hours." So I have to pick up my daughter. 2.5 hours with all the other shit that goes on. It's going to be 3 hours. Yeah, before it's over, it's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't seen it, but it didn't do well.
It's weird, man. I think it's just a weird time right now that we have this shift in what's popular, and I think it's tough to do these action movies. It's really weird, man. It's like if I knew the fucking formula, then I'd figure it out. But like at the end of the day, it's a great Michael Bay movie. I think it's definitely up there. He went back to his old school roots of like. The old one with Sean Connery and what was that one? The fucking Alcatraz one. Oh, The Rock. The Rock.
The Rock. The Rock.
Yeah. It feels like The Rock, and it has like a lot of really fun stuff in it, and like over the top performances, which I fucking love. And at the end of the day, he's such a great visual. Like I come from cinematography originally. He's such a great visualist, and his fucking shots are just absolutely gorgeous. And there's so many directors that like tried to do the Michael Bay thing, and you're just like, you guys just don't get it. You don't understand the sauce. You don't understand the juice.
No, you don't understand. And you have to have that passion. Yeah, I compare it to run a football team. I mean, you gotta have the passion or a basketball team.
Yeah,
you gotta have, you gotta be there. You gotta bleed, even if you don't bleed. You have to bleed every time. You're gonna have blisters, and you're gonna be hurt, even as a coach. Yeah, and that's what Michael does. I mean, he's funny. We shot Armageddon. Yeah, and there was a scene going back from the asteroid, and we're like 7 people in the shuttle going back, and we have a scene where everybody has like a line, and we had to run it over and over again. 7 people are going to say like 4 words, and then you have 3 more words, and it has to be like domino bricks are falling. Come on, you say this, blah 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 blah. No pausing. And he screamed at me, "Peter, you're pausing. You pause. Stop it, Peter. Why do you pause? Blah 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 blah." And I said, "What? I'm not pausing. I'm saying it exactly, the way the line is. But it's too long. I have to breathe, breathe in between. Breathe. No, you're not breathing. You're pausing. Michael, try to say the fucking shit yourself then. Come on, look at the monitor." He said, "Look at this. You were taking a pause. I'm breathing." And he said, "Yeah, you're right. It's too long. It's too long. can we cut a couple of words? Yes, of course. I'm happy to cut some words, so Steve Buscemi can say he's after Owen Wilson, It's better, it's too long, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, let's cut it down a couple of words. Let's do it then. Great. No pausing. So that's a pause. It's a breath. You're right. It's a breath. Fuck. So it's funny, screaming, come to the monitor and watch yourself, you take a pause. It's like 3-second pause. No, it's like a split second of breathing. And I love the passion, and I love he's very honest. And you can't be that in Hollywood. If someone is dragging the legs behind him or her,
sure,
he says, why are you on set? You're not happy today? What? You seem to be very fucking grumpy. I asked for a glass of water to be on the table, and you take like 5 minutes. Where's the fucking glass of water? It's supposed it's in the script here.
Yeah.
And then people say, "Oh fuck!" He yelled at the prop guy. He yelled at the set designer.
But you get it. Like you get it as a director, because there's this sense, like when you get to larger things. I've directed a couple larger union commercials. Everything slows way the fuck down, and then you start to have department heads where it's like, can I get a extension cord over here? And you have 3 guys unrolling a fucking extension cord to get
extension cord. Oh, you take care. Extension cord, please. And Michael is because all his movies is about adrenaline momentum.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
And he works himself up. Sometimes I think he's about to faint because he has the same adrenaline pumping as he wants the movie to be.
Yeah.
And that's, I say, to people who complain, have you worked with him? No, but I had a friend that worked with him and he was horrible. But did your friend work with him again? People are working with him again.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, too, to see somebody with passion.
Yeah.
And he's prep.
Yeah.
He's prep in everything. He goes through it with his cinematographer and, his A camera, B camera. He goes through with everybody. He's not coming onto a set and say, where should we put the camera, guys?
Yeah. Of course.
Everybody's more like, they're standing up like Israeli soldiers when it comes, ready, Mike. Yeah, let's go. Let's shoot.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And I like that about him. He does, like you said, you do a lot of prep work. Yeah. Because I think 99% of success, Bergman, that I grew up with working with, he said to me, whatever you do, TV, movies, stage, opera, prep work.
Yeah.
Prep work.
Yeah. And
99% of your success is in your own little study at home.
Yeah. Well, dude, and it's weird because thankfully for COVID, that was one of the things I started to really research. I started to change the way I prep for actors, and I was really sort of digging into all that stuff. And I oftentimes beat myself up. I was talking to somebody about this the other day where I get so concerned about timing, and I'm like, man, I wish I could do my prep work faster. And so I'm constantly trying to become more efficient with what I'm doing for my prep. But there hits a point where there's a certain speed. There's a certain speed that it takes to open a program. There's a certain speed it takes to draw things and to do things. And so,
yeah, of course.
But it's you're always racing it. You're always like, oh, okay. How do I get this out of my head as fast as I possibly can onto the page so that we can make this fucking thing so it's still relevant by the time we make the damn thing, So,
yeah, it's hard when you do commercials as you do,
Oh, dude.
So what does the ad agency think? It's too much beard.
Yeah.
What? On that guy sitting over there. Well, I can take him out of the shot. He's not really, no, he's got to be in the shot. We like him, but it's too much beard. Okay, let's cut the beard. Waiting. Okay, so the car is in the wrong place. No, it was put here. No, can you move it? I don't like it. It's like, I know commercials. I've done my thing, and I like it, and I really hate it because sometimes it's a good paycheck and it's fun. It's fast.
Sure.
But sometimes people are really, really crazy. In one commercial I did, this is true. Too long, the hair or the beard, whatever I had, I can't remember. It's a hair or, 2-3 times. Yeah, it's good now. No, maybe a tad more down. No. Now it's too long. You took away on the side too.
Yeah.
So they had to glue back some hair, on the side. It's like 4 times into a fucking makeup trailer to finally, that's good. Now it's good. Jesus Christ. Why did you hire me in the first place? You saw me beard. Of course I can cut it down, but, to do it 3-4 times, going back and forth, it's like everybody's just thinking you're crazy.
I know. And then you go out onto set and you say like one line, like, these are my these are my favorite adult diapers. You know what I mean? And then you're done.
Yeah. No, but it's Hollywood. It's, I'm happy because I've been working, constantly for 30 years. I've been very, very successful. I've been, avoiding doing bigger parts in B movies, like all European actors get offered a lot, unless you're from England.
Sure.
You get offered like remakes of movies, like RoboCop or, remake of some movie with some new Brazilian guy who had an Oscar nomination for best Brazilian movie. Let's hire him and do a remake of Rocky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then I realized, do I want to do this? It happened after Fargo, like that's 25 years ago, 26. It happened, and the manager I still have, she said, Peter, there's 2 ways here. You can make a lot of money in 5 to 7 years, and you will never work again. Or you can work your whole life by doing some cool things with A-list people in cool movies and some independent and, and just go your own route. And I'm what John Lennon said, I'm a grasshopper. I can't just stay in one place all the time.
Yeah.
I just want to jump from one kind of music to the other. So I'm a grasshopper. I don't want to be on a show, and I've been offered, and I've been, lucky to get out of Prison Break. And, I was almost sued because I wanted to leave so badly. But it's hard to be on network TV where you do 22 episodes and you're under the fucking hammer all the time.
Yeah.
And hit the mark, say your line. It's the same line that she says. I don't care. We cut it out later. Just shoot the shit, Hit the mark, say your line. Okay, move to the next. Hit your line. Say your line. Hit the mark.
Yeah.
And you go crazy. But overall, I've been, I work with things that I really like. Some of the movies I've done, no one might never have seen. But the environment for me has always been a very positive environment. When I'm on set, I'm always bringing, joy and things. I always come with suggestions. I meet the director beforehand or the writer saying, these lines, are very strange. Can I say the same thing, but with these lines that I suggest? So I have my language.
Yeah.
Not so I don't sound like Sammy. I'm Joe. So Sammy speaks like, maybe Joe speaks like this. And often 9 times or 8 times or 10, both the director and the writer is saying, yeah, absolutely, do it that way. And it becomes more alive. And
yes.
I'm always good, when it comes to a movie set. You come in, you do a small part or you do a bigger part. And I go into when you try out your costume, what's suggested to you. I always come in and I said to the costume, department and the head of the costume department, he or she, and I say, what is your first option? What is your first option? The one thing you wanted me to wear. And they say, how do you mean? You have one option that is your favorite. I know. Yeah. That's the first one you came up with. Then you have some alternatives here.
Sure.
But what is your first choice? And they say this. That's what we're going with.
Smart.
Okay. And I take it on, as I said, because, I was taught in theater by a great master called Bergman that you're just, Peter, sometimes you're just the blue little dot in the corner of a Monet painting or a or a Rembrandt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the whole picture would not have been that great without that blue streak of cobalt blue up there. That's what makes this painting so cool, because you look at that blue and you look at the painting without that blue. So remember, every part is absolutely, it's absolutely important for this whole painting.
Yeah.
It's like the universe. They're small little rocks that keeps the sun in place and keeps our universe in place. They're big, 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 big planets. And we're all circling around. We all are entwined, and we need each other, so we can be alive. And I always carry that with me too, because the first choice, I know if I said, no, I don't want to have a red T-shirt, I want to have a blue because I look fat in red.
Oh, yeah, right. Here we go.
I know that she or he, who is the head, who has been doing the homework and they've been prepping, they know that the lead girl is wearing a blue dress in the scene. So, right. And I can't fight for the blue. I always go for the first. My fittings usually takes 15 minutes and everybody's happy.
That's great. That's great, actually.
Because they have done, and I have to respect them, they have done their homework too.
Yeah.
And most of them are so great. They are so fantastic in creating costumes. So why should I come in and say, no, I'm going to wear these. I'm going to have cowboy boots and I'm going to wear, a wife beater. Yeah. I love that. I look cool like that, and leather pants.
Right.
But you're in an office. Yeah. Who the fuck cares,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because it's ego though. At that point, you're doing it. Yeah. You're doing it specifically to make you either make a statement about yourself and your position on the film, or you're doing that to sort of mask the insecurity that you somehow have with the film. And then you should really be examining where that fucking insecurity is coming from. Is it coming from a lack of communication from the directors or from the people that you're working with? It's an interesting, whenever I see something like that happen, I'm always like, what's the fucking real root of this here, man? Because there's something going on. And if you're feeling insecure about something, it's so crazy how in our business, there's so much outside influence that is consistently sort of piling, pushing itself over the walls into your creative project, where it's just like, what, did you get in a fight last night? Did you get arrested last night? What are you coming to set like this for,
Yeah. And, when it comes, let's say props, I started when I was 20 years old working with props on Swedish TV and on stage.
Oh, no shit.
And it was great to see all the plays coming along, or the TV productions, and I was in the wings coming from the countryside and getting into the whole prop thing. So whenever, the props comes over and say, we have this, we have it, you're supposed to have a ring and you're supposed to wear a watch and you have a knife, in this scene, which one is and I always say, what's your first choice? What do you like me to wear? And they say, I think it would be cool. I really like this watch. Let's wear it. And this knife is kind of great. I mean, you have these, but that's what I take, because he has also, or she has done their homework. They have read the script and they have made notes. He has a knife. I have to go to, the Department of Knives and pick a knife for the crazy guy. So they picked 10 options. Sure. But I know they have one they really like themselves.
Well, see, this is probably why I like you so much as an actor, because you can see all the stuff that you're talking about, the choices that you made with the devil, the choices that you've made with dealing with crew and understanding that you have, because you worked in a crew position. So you have an understanding of what it takes to do that stuff. And then just the path that you've chosen as an actor, your roles, your parts outlive the projects in a weird way. Where like I always say this about rewatching movies. I don't go back to rewatch, like I'm not watching Citizen Kane every year. You know what I mean? I'm not going back and watching the most dramatic, like I'm not watching like some sort of intense, dramatic movie every year. I'm going back and watching those movies with these small bit parts, and I love them so much. And it like you've played a bunch of them, but if you go back into my childhood, it's like the guy who played Ellis in Die Hard, the guy with the coke problem. He's like he's the reason why I go back and watch that movie a lot, because I love him in that. Yeah. And like all these small parts and actors like you or William H. Macy or all these different character actors that have made the right decision in their career play parts that outlive the movie itself, and they become like the reason of cinema. And like if I had to rattle off scenes in my favorite movies, it would be like, you know, the guy in I can't remember his name, the guy in Predator that had the razor blade and he was shaving his head. He was bald headed. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. I know. I can't remember either.
But I fucking love him in that. You know what I mean? It's those. Yeah. And as a director, I always say that whoever has to lead and carry a movie, that's the fucking worst job. Because most of the time that role is like vapid, you know what I mean? And you have to carry the entire film, and like you have to be a sex symbol and everything else. And these other character actors that get to come in for a week or a couple of days and sort of texture these things out, that's the fucking role. Like that's the game.
And that's been my part, you know, my path. And because I want to do 8 projects a year, not just one, and be the same hairdo and the same look.
Yeah.
I want to come in and, you know, I change my look. I change the way I walk, and also small little things. If I have 3 scenes in a movie, I think about small things, because like in life, even characters, they can be constipated, or they have tummy ache, or they are horny, or they are just bored, or they haven't slept. Mm-hmm. So I sometimes write, in this scene, you haven't slept. You were kept awake by a crazy fucking maniac, you know, screaming in the next room. So I have that into that. I can be sort of sleepy, and I take that with me, because in real life, you're not the same guy tomorrow, Mike, as you are today.
Exactly.
And that sort of reflects even on characters. So if you're the same in every scene, I slightly change if I have 3 scenes. I don't want to be exactly the same.
Oh, it's so refreshing.
I do. And sometimes I can, you know, just come up with a little thing. I twisted my ankle, so I have to walk a little, you know, with a little, you know, strange walk in the last scene.
Yeah.
Because that happens in real life too. You hurt your finger, or you haven't eaten, you know, you didn't get time to eat breakfast, or I'm hungry. In this scene, I'm also hungry, and I wanted to fucking kill this guy. But underneath it all, I'm just hungry.
Yeah, see, but those are those things. Those are the details that are the identifiable details. Those are the things that connect with an audience. And whenever I get fucking notes on a script or something where it's like, how does this character connect with the audience? I don't know yet until we film them, until we physically film them. You know, like those are the it's not the words that are on the page, or the structure, or the fucking or the exposition and the backstory bullshit. Like that stuff drives me nuts every time, where you're writing all this stuff essentially for the people that are reading it. And you're like, okay, so there's a reason why when you hand a script to actors, you cross out all the stage direction on the script. You're like, you're not going to do any of this. Like, let's figure out what you're going to do and let's find it. And all those little details that you're talking about, it's like, what happened if before your character walks into this room, they just stood in line for 6 hours at the fucking registry of motor vehicles? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I'm fucking irritated. I had enough. I had enough for one day. No, that's absolutely true. Yeah. Absolutely true.
I love that.
And I think, you know, I have my fantasy goes far when I try to create, you know, characters, and even if it's, as I say, 3 scenes, you're not the same people.
Yeah.
You're not the same people. You're not the same guy day number 2 and day number 9. You've changed a little bit.
When you're talking about this, sorry to interrupt you, but when you're talking about it, I just want to make a movie that's just that, like literally just a single character that's just walking in and out of scenes in different modes and just observing each and every one of those modes. There's something so fucking satisfying about that to watch.
I think we need a meeting in June. I think 2 brains will mix a good cocktail.
Yes, I think so
because
too.
It's just to be daring enough to tell stories in a different way that they haven't been told before.
Yeah, man.
And it might be the same old Brothers Grimm story going around, or the legends that they say we do over and over again. But there's new stories. You can come up with things. I do it all the time, and just to be a little bit daring.
Ah, dude. And you know what? I get it, right? So in order to get money or get people in the seats, you have to go, okay, was this an established fucking character? Okay, fine. Great. Whatever you have to do to say to get people in there, but then fuck it all up. Like when you're making it, actually go why do we have to do standard TV coverage and exposition in this scene? Why do the actors have to say fucking anything? Most of the time, these are comic book characters that are walking through panels and swinging through panels. Can't we make those scenes just as interesting as when you open up the fucking comic book? Do we have to sit here and listen to how their father beat them and then go through this how about I see them do it instead of have them tell me?
Yeah. Absolutely. Your backstory should not be told.
Yes.
That was Bergman said, just give the audience 60%. They are willing to add 40%. Let them use the fantasy.
Yes. 100%. Dude, that's why I don't videotape this podcast. Really, because at the end of the day, for all anybody knows, that we're hanging out in Lamborghinis, driving and talking to each other at the same time. Well, Peter, look, this has been so fucking good. I hate cutting it off because I've had so much fucking fun talking to you on this show.
The same. Let's get together in June. You have my contact.
We'll talk about it when we get off air. I just wanted to thank you again for being on the show, and this is going to be a great fucking episode, dude.
Oh, thank you for having me. Anytime, anywhere, anyhow.
There it is. I just finished talking with him for at least another 30 minutes offline. I love this guy. Peter is the shit. He's so cool. Yes, he is as cool in real life as he seems when you watch the movies. He's got such a great sense of humor. And when you look at the stuff that he does on screen, he does it effortless. You feel like that this is just the way the guy breathes. And he plays so many creepy characters that he must just be a creepy dude in real life, right? Because it just flows out of him naturally. Like, who else would you call up to feed your best friend into a wood chipper, right? But he is the nicest guy. He seems to be the coolest collaborator. He's such a breath of fresh air. If I had him walk on one of my sets for a few days or for a few weeks, I would just feel so happy to have that ammunition behind a film. And for those actor listeners that have been enjoying this show, I hope you guys walk away with some interesting things to think about. I think his very humble assessment of his career and his choices that he made makes him who he is today. And I know that we all think that we're the leads of a movie. I know that we all think that we're the star of the show, regardless if you work in this industry or not. We're all trying to find a way to be the most important person around. But the truth is that we're not. And that's okay. It's okay to be the supporting character. It's okay to be the supporting crew person. It's okay to be the supporting friend or spouse or brother or sister, because that's a big piece of the narrative that we're living in. And honestly, whenever I get to play a supporting character, if I get to go work for Gina and do lighting, or if I get to go hang out with a friend, or if I get asked just to cook a meal for somebody, and I'm there as a puzzle, as a piece to that puzzle, it's actually a lot more enjoyable than the stressful position of having to carry the whole motherfucking thing. You know? I told you it was a great episode. I feel it in my bones that this is a good one. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for supporting me on the show. And thank you all for consistently telling your friends to listen to the show. The numbers going up are a great reason why we have a guest like today. And I hope that we can continue to do so. I hope we can continue to push the limits of this and tell your friends to listen to today's show for a bunch of different reasons. Just movie fans alone, the shit that he told us about what it's like to work on a Michael Bay movie, the geek in me was sitting here and laughing, and all of the laughing that you hear from me in the background is real because it was so much fucking fun. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next Tuesday, and maybe we can follow this up. I don't know.